God, I hate this job. All right, children, come along, come along. Let's go, circle up.
Hey,
How you doing, Mr. D?
How you doing? How you kids doing? What's good? What's good?
What's up, coach?
What's good? I'm not your coach. I'm your teacher. What's good? And everybody, let's take a moment and applaud Luce's mom. She took her time out of her busy schedule to come along on this picture, guys. Okay. All right. So pass out these papers, please. So, guys, today we're out here to learn about a historical figure. All right, guys.
And who is that historical figure?
Well, give me a second and I'll tell you. All right. So today we're here to learn about John F. Kennedy.
Is that a rapper?
No, that is not a rapper.
I bet he's a mechanic.
No.
No, he's an astronaut.
No, he's not a crack. My goodness, do you children know nothing?
No.
Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna be quiet and you're gonna follow me. Come on, follow me. It's to get you started off. John F. Kennedy was our 35th president. He had a couple kids and his wife name was Jacqueline Kennedy. Now, John F. Kennedy, he was born May 29th, 1917. And his parents' name are Joseph and Rose Kennedy. Now, John F. Kennedy, he has 9 siblings, 9 other kids. So he had a pretty big family. And his mother named him after his grandfather. So he was named after his grandfather, John Francis Fitzgerald, seeing for the JF. So instead of me talking about him, why don't we get to a clip to him?
In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask of us here the same high standards of strength and sacrifice which we ask of you. With a good conscience, our only sure reward, with history the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking his blessing and his help, but knowing that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own.
I know you guys enjoyed that video. Now back to what I was saying about John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy, as a young child, caught many diseases and many illnesses. And at one point in his life, when he was very young, scarlet fever threatened to take his life. And it was so bad that it worried his father. But thankfully, he made a recovery and he grew up into a fine young man. Now, while John F. Kennedy was at school, he was a very smart student who had a lot of intelligence, but he was not very good in class. The only 2 subjects he was good in was history and English. And his father, seeing his bad progress in school, one day he wrote him a letter saying, though he didn't believe that John was a very bad student, he believed that he was a good student, that he just had to put his heart into it, and that he did not want to nag John, but he wanted to encourage him to do better and to keep going. And after he graduated from the boarding school he went to Harvard University. And as he went into Harvard, he studied his two favorite subjects, English and history. Now, after that, at the time, World War II did come around, so he was enlisted in the Army. He ended up enlisting in the Navy. He became a Navy officer, and he was a lieutenant. And there was one incident where him and his crew were attacked by a Japanese ship, and so the crew, some of his men, 2 of his men died, but he ended up saving the rest of them. And for that, he was awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Award. And after that, after he came back from the Army, he was pushed by his father to become a senator for the state. And now we're going to show you a video of John F. Kennedy speaking on that.
For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond. And we have vowed that we shall not see it governed by a hostile flag of conquest, but by a banner of freedom and peace. We have vowed that we shall not see space filled with weapons of mass destruction, but with instruments of knowledge and understanding. Yet the vows of this nation can only be fulfilled if we in this nation are first, and therefore we intend to be first. In short, our leadership in science and industry, our hopes for peace and security, our obligations to ourselves as well as others, all require us to make this effort, to solve these mysteries, to solve them for the good of all men, and to become the world's leading spacefaring nation. We set sail on this new sea because there is new knowledge to be gained and new rights to be won, and they must be won and used for the progress of all people. For space science, like nuclear science and all technology, has no conscience of its own. Whether it will become a force for good or ill depends on man. And only if the United States occupies a position of preeminence can we help decide whether this new ocean will be a sea of peace or a new terrifying theater of war. I do not say that we should or will go unprotected against the hostile misuse of space any more than we go unprotected against the hostile use of land or sea. But I do say that space can be explored and mastered without feeding the fires of war, without repeating the mistakes that man has made in extending his writ around this globe of ours. There is no strife, no prejudice, no national conflict in outer space as yet. Its hazards are hostile to us all. Its conquest deserves the best of all mankind, and its opportunity for peaceful cooperation may never come again. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon.
Later, as John F. Kennedy continued being a senator, he became popular amongst the people, and so he ran for president. And as we all know, he won, and he became the 35th president. Now, as the 35th president, John F. Kennedy was a part of a lot of very great things. He achieved a lot while he was in office. One being he helped cool down the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the other being he supported the Civil Rights Movement. and he was pro Martin Luther King. But unfortunately, he was assassinated November 22nd in Dallas, Texas. And we will show you a clip of that. That is who John F. Kennedy was. I know you guys enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know you guys really enjoyed that. I know. Listen, see? You see how much you guys learn when you guys listen? I know y'all learned a lot. And I know y'all learned about a real leader. He wasn't a mechanic, he wasn't a crackhead, and he wasn't a rapper. He was a president, and a great one at that. So, I'm just glad that you guys could learn something useful.
So are we doing this again?
So when is the next field trip?
Next field trip, listen, I quit. I can't stand y'all kids.
I'm so
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.